Dudes, what's crack-a-lackin'? Figured we'd cover kind of a unique topic here. I wanted to demystify red pill thinking for you guys. I've been watching a lot of these red pill thinker YouTube guys. I think they're just uh, right on, right on the money, right on point, and they're looking out for all you men. They really are. They're trying to get everyone to be the best version of themselves. And I can't fault any of them for that. And trying to get anyone and everyone to listen and understand kind of what's been going on with men in society. I say we just get into this. I think this has kind of reached this point in the world because there's a division, a wedge between the genders. It's causing a huge ripple in the fabric of our culture, our society, communication, and our, let's face it, even our governmental bodies. It's weakened the foundation of social beliefs, strengthened discontentment within society. It's destroying the foundation of our country's 245-year-old purpose. It's created an environment that devalues expression and a lack of desire to achieve greatness anymore. Yeah, that to me is kind of where this whole red pill thought process started, was from kind of the devaluing of men. So let me give you a little bit of my origin story because I think it's important to kind of understand the perspective that I'm coming from. So I'm 46 years old. Obviously, a male. So I've orbited around the sun a few times. If my math adds up, I think that calculates out to about 16,900 days. I was born in Texas. I grew up here in Colorado. I grew up in a middle class upbringing. I have one older brother, and my parents were married and stayed together through my entire upbringing. Um, I'm blessed to have their guidance and their perspective of both genders and their roles in the family, and they both play a huge influence on my life. Um, my mom, in particular, pushed me, knowing that I was good at math and science and kind of the STEM stuff. She pushed me in my professional career. She guided me to want to become a professional engineer, which I ultimately became. In the course of rising to that status, I got married and had two boys, but that marriage didn't last, and I got divorced. I'm now remarried, and my current wife has two boys as well. So there's at any given moment, with shared custody of all of our children, we could have all four boys in the house at any given time. And I got to say, it's scary in this current social landscape to raise children and boys in particular. So I have a lot of interests. That raising children is one of them. You know, I also like to play guitar. I play music locally in a couple of bands. I have this YouTube channel. I have the focus of raising my family, and you know, I have the I have to work on keeping my marriage together. Um, so you know, recently, I would say in the last couple of years, I've been through some rocky job situations, and it's caused me to have a bunch of added stress in my life, in my home life, in my marriage, and you know, couple months ago, it all kind of came to a head a bit. We hit some, my wife and I hit some rocky waters, and it needed some self correction and to keep the marriage going. Marriage takes work, and I wasn't putting in the work, and she wasn't putting in the work, and something had to drastically change. And at that time, I started looking inwards at what is causing the relationship dynamics to fall apart and fracture. And at that time, as I'm sure a lot of you and some of you, maybe you're new to this, but at that time is when I stumbled across these guys, these red pill thinkers and their videos. And it has been instrumental in my life to implement some of this thought, this process. A lot of the information that they present is tailored towards betterment of yourself and, really taking care of that. For me, it hits a little different note. I have 4 boys that I'm trying to grow into men, and they need guidance, and they need understanding of this world, and they need, a playbook to get there. And watching these videos and getting understanding and really putting that all together has really been helpful for me. So let's just get into a real quick understanding of what this red pill thinking is. It's really generic in concept when you say red pill. I mean, it references the movie The Matrix, right? It's essentially the part in the movie when Neo has to pick between the red and the blue pill. The red pill is going to show him the Matrix for what it truly is. And if he takes it, and if he takes the blue pill, he'll forget everything, and everything will go back to normal. He obviously takes the red pill. So, and he's then enlightened to what the Matrix is. So, in other words, it's used to reference a process by which a person's perspective is dramatically transformed, introducing them to a new and typically disturbing understanding of the true nature of a particular situation. This ideal is all tied into discussions of the modern day interactions between men and women and the current state of relationship dynamics. Okay, so I grew up around what I perceive as alpha men. Men who truly gave sacrifice to this country and our families. These men exhibited great strengths, in my eyes, in what it means to be a man. I'm a better man and human being because of my interactions with these individuals. These men, they fought in wars. They were men of the community. They were firefighters. They were policemen. They were carpenters. They were farmers. Some were well educated. Some were not. Perhaps they were taught their trades or they were handed down through the family business. Above all else, these men were dedicated, hardworking, loyal individuals who by default were self-sacrificing. Their sacrifice was for the betterment of the family, which outweighed any personal gains of their time, their energy, their resources. All these men were never too busy to teach the next generation, including me, of men about sacrifice, getting a good education, and becoming a better man and a better person. These men never complained about equality or fairness in society, never dwelling on their hardships or inadequacies. They never looked back and focus on what ifs. These are the types of men I gravitate towards today to better my life, my family's life. This to me is the truest essence of what in today's society it means to be a red-pilled alpha. I'd say at this point, let's look at a few of these YouTube clips of these guys that I really admire. I'll just take a few snippets of some of their stuff. I'll leave links to all their stuff. Entrepreneurs in Cars. That's Richard Cooper. He has a great book. He kind of goes through a lot of it on his YouTube page. Rollo Tomasi. I mean, he's outstanding. He kind of got Richard on the path to enlightenment as well. He has a bunch of great books. I think he has 4 books out. I like listening to Kevin Samuel. He lays it down pretty hard. He just gets right to it. He doesn't hold back at all. The Better Bachelor, that's another guy I like to listen to. Has a little softer tonality to it, a little more humor in it. And then if you're after a little red meat flesh, go check out Fresh and Fit. They host gals on their show, and they kind of break them down and try to explain to them these concepts. So they're all great to watch. Let's just see a few clips of what they have to offer.
All right, so this truly is for me where it kind of all begins, and it's Rich talking about do the work. I mean, this is the essence of what it boils down to. Men are success objects to women. You provide, you protect, and you procreate. In this video, he kind of lays it down. Do the work. Let's listen to what Rich has to say.
Out at the finish line and they pick the winners.
Yes, they do.
My brothers, there's a lot of men today that are pissed off, and I believe it's because we have a lot of dudes that are not doing well with women and they're not successful. They're not financially sorted, if you will. I want to start by saying this. I get that we're all born weak, but how we die is a result of how we live our life and the choices that we make every day and where we go with all those choices that we make. I was born, burned the crap out of both my arms and my chest and my neck with hot water when I was a little toddler. I was in the hospital for 3 months. Damn. You've seen it in my videos, right? I'm not talking about anything new. If you're new to the channel, maybe that's one of the questions you're asking. But a lot of guys give up on life far, far too easily.
So, I mean, Rich is going on. I mean, you got to do the work. And what he means by that is you got to take care of your physique. You got to take care of yourself. Get an education. Get a good paying job. You have to create your own success. And women will then have to look at you. You will be forming yourself as an alpha male if you follow those footsteps. There's a recipe for it. Rich and Rollo and all these guys can lead you down that path. They have books. There's no reason for me to kind of overly reiterate stuff that they've already said. But yeah, buy some of their books, read what they have to tell you, and it's the playbook. All right, here you go. Rich is cooking down the road in his fancy R8 or whatever this is. I don't know much about this car. It's one of the German cars, right? I think it's an Audi. And he's about to lay down the law for you here. Here's how he's telling you how to go about it.
That guy with the R8 that just pulled in, they always do. That was completely random. I don't even know who that is. But you got to understand that it is almost impossible to be unhappy in life if you're financially successful, if you got your money sorted, you don't have debt, attractive women like you and want to spend time with you. I'm not saying that needs to be the priority. You should be the priority. Putting your dent in the universe should be the priority. But I hear an awful lot of guys these days pointing and sputtering at me or other people out there that claim to be, red pilled or whatever, when they're not. They're just little babies. They manufacture indignation. Let me give you a really good example. I've said things in the past like I think that tatted up women is literally the equivalent of putting bumper stickers all over a Ferrari. So what happens? Some tatted up woman hears it. She sends that lyric or the soundbite to her friend that has a YouTube channel, and a fat person purple-haired feminist with sleeve tats and hand tats and neck tats does a video about how I'm such a bad guy, and it's like their response video. How is that any different from the quote-unquote red pill guy that points and sputters at me when I'm telling guys to do the work and take ownership for their indiscretions, right?
There you go. I mean, Richard doesn't hold back either. He's just trying to help you guys out, and I like that he's no bullshit. I appreciate it. It's what I want to hear, and it's what I think we all need to hear. He's just trying to preach the word. Okay, in this clip, Rich is talking to Fit and Fresh, and he's explaining to Fit and Fresh the percentage of men that are actually over 6 feet tall. And we'll get into this. This is the women after the 6'6s. Rich has explained this one to me, but this is him describing one of the 6'6s. So let's hear what he has to say about it.
It's
Yeah, and I'll add this to the whole height dynamic because I just did a quick Google search here, and it's 14.5% of the U.S. population that's over 6 foot tall. The
Yes.
vast majority of American men are not over 6 foot tall.
Damn.
But like almost 100% of women, I mean, I'm rounding it up a little bit, but let's say like 90-95% of women almost always insist on dating somebody that's over 6 foot tall. And when they say 6 foot tall, they're usually coming up with numbers like must be over 6'2" or must be over 6'3" to date me. And it's like, what is this, clacky moose bringing to the table, right? You can laugh and shrug a lot of these off.
Rich, he's harsh when he wants to be. All right, so let's get into that a bit. You can check out his specifics on this, but I've done a little more research on this. So so he's getting into women are after the 6'6s in men, and the 6'6s are 6-figure income, which 9% of Americans, that includes men and women, actually make 9% over 6 figures. Over 6 feet in height, which he just described as 14 something percent. I have 14% here on my screen. 6-pack abs. To get 6-pack abs, it's like 8 to 15% body fat. 8% means you're as lean as a bodybuilder, and you're on the verge of not being healthy, actually. They say maybe 10 to 15% of the population has 6-pack abs. 6 inch in the pants. I looked up a study. I think there's only 16% of men with that size package. 6 months out of a relationship, and to a lesser degree, a 600 horsepower car. So if 9% make 6-figure incomes, 14% are over 6 feet tall, roughly 10 to 15% have 6-pack abs, 16% have a large package, and the other two are kind of what they are. I mean, what percentage of men is that in the entire U.S.? My guess is it's like 1 to 5%, maybe. So all the men or all the women in the world are chasing a man that is the 1 to 5 percentile of the entire population. Okay, in this video clip, I was trying to find a condensed down version of Rollo Tomasi's 9 rules, and I wasn't really able to find it. This is the best thing I could find. I wish I could just pulled it off Rollo's site itself, but most of those videos are like 2 hours long, and I suggest watching those. Rollo has a lot to tell you. So let's get into kind of the synopsis of this.
That are based on thousands of experiences of guys who have completely transformed their relationships. Kicking it off with Iron Rule 9, never seriously self-deprecate with a woman you intend to be with. Iron Rule 8, always let a woman figure out why she wants you, never do it for her. You see a hot girl and you think to yourself, she's out of my league. Well, congratulations, you just let the girl figure out why she won't you and you haven't even opened your mouth.
Yeah, that pretty much nails it.
Iron Rule 7. It is always time and effort better spent developing relations with new, fresh, prospective women than it ever will be in attempting to reconstruct a failed relationship.
Yep, been there, done that. This is a lesson I learned the hard way in my life for sure.
Iron Rule 6. Women are fundamentally incapable of loving a man in the way that a man expects to be loved by a woman.
Yeah, men and women are different, right? We have different set of rules. We play by a different set of rules and what we're looking for. You know, men are success objects to women, and men look at women as beauty objects. So,
Rule 5. Never allow a woman to be in control of the birth.
yeah, that comes down to, you know, cover your Jimmy.
Never under any circumstance live with a woman you aren't married to or are not planning to marry within 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of goes without saying. I mean, that just adds so much complication to your life.
Iron Rule 3. Any woman who makes you wait for sex, or by her actions implies she is making you wait for sex, the sex is never worth the wait.
And rule number 3, as Richard would say, there's no burning desire from the woman. She doesn't see you as an alpha if she's giving you stipulations and reasons why she won't have sex with you. She's just not digging your vibe. She didn't like the cut of your jib, dude.
Iron Rule 2. Never, under pain of death, honestly or dishonestly, reveal the number of women you've slept with or explain any detail of your sexual experiences with them to a current lover.
Yeah, that's just going to bring in jealousy and a whole slew of problems. Nothing good's going to come from that.
Iron Rule number 1. Frame is everything. Always be aware of the subconscious balance of whose frame in which you are operating. Always control the frame, but resist giving the impression that you are.
Yeah, I mean, rule 1's number 1. It literally is number 1. Yeah, you always have to control frame. I mean, he knocked that one out of the park on that thought. Women always have to see you as the alpha. And you can't have two leaders in a relationship. It will never work. And if her opinion of your alpha diminishes in any way, there's some high probability that that relationship's over. Okay, so here's a clip of Rollo Tomasi. And again, he has a ton of great books. I'll at least reference one in the link in description below. Here's Rollo talking about sexual marketplace value and kind of peak ages between both men and women. I at least wanted to include one Rollo clip in this video.
I wanted to do we're going to go back to the bold statement. What's the bold statement? The bold statement is this: is that women will always mature faster when it comes to their peak, like sexual market value potential, than guys do. How do I know that? Because good father Aristotle said this. Women should marry when they are about 18 years of age, and men at 70 and 30. 70 and 30. 7 and 30. 37 years old. What did Rollo say about sexual market value peak? Then they are in the prime of life, and the decline in the powers of both will coincide.
I love that. I mean, look how far back that goes. I mean, Aristotle knew it way back when. It's in philosophy. But essentially what he's saying and breaking that down to is women, especially since they're beauty objects, they hold their highest value. I think he's changed this a little bit, but it's realistically around 22, 23 years old. That's their highest level of beauty they will obtain in their life. From that point on, their value starts to decline. Some more than others, some quicker than others. But that's their inherent born value. Men, on the other hand, we have to obtain our value. So he's suggesting 37's about the prime of that for, where you've acquired enough wealth, you've taken care of yourself to an age where you still seem fit, you're not deteriorating. and you're mentally mature as well. Let's face it, you're a true man at that point. It takes a long time for men to mature. We mature much slower than women. All right, this is one of my absolute favorite Kevin Samuels clips. It's kind of gone viral all by itself. He's about to tell this lady she's the size of Emmett Smith or Barry Sanders, if I believe this to be the clip. And again, he's not saying it to be mean. He's just, man, the truth hurts. Let's just get into it.
Okay. All right. And with that being said, there should be rules and regulations when you
Let's
step into
start out
marriage.
with the first rule. Let's start with the first rules. How tall are you?
How tall am I? I am 5'8".
Dress size?
16.
All right, you
16,
broke the
14.
first rule right there. I don't know what you think. I don't know what you think you're talking about, that a man shouldn't cheat or whatever. When you broke the first rule, that men were fit.
That
You
is
weigh
true.
more. You weighed more than a man at your height. True or false?
I'm
True or
around a
false?
lot of chubby dudes, so
No. But okay. How much do you weigh?
220.
I weigh 210 and I'm 6'4". You broke the first rule. See, you ladies don't mind breaking the rules. The men are visual. The men want women that are fit, feminine,
Yep.
friendly, cooperative, submissive. I don't mind being the size of, I'm sorry, you're 5'8"?
I'm 5'8".
You're about the size of Emmett Smith or Barry Sanders was. You're running back size.
Oh, Kevin, you're so brutal. Yeah, man. Beauty objects, right? All right. Wanted to showcase. I like kind of intermixing these guys. These are great. They're all kind of interconnected. So here's Better Bachelor on Fresh and Fit. Love it. He's kind of talking to them with some of the ladies, kind of intermixing the dialogues here. So let's listen to Better Bachelor.
They have something about hypergamy. When we talk about the top 20, because I don't often break this down, but I think it's important we do. The top 20% of men aren't necessary. It's not a whole. You can hit the gym hard.
Yep.
Like hard.
You can get in the top 20.
And you can be in the top 5% physically of men.
Yep.
Now maybe your income's the top 40%. Maybe your personality's the top 25%.
Yep.
You can kind of average it out to the top 20%. Look, I'm 5'7" in heels. Like I'm not a tall guy. I've dated women that are 6 feet tall. I've dated women that are. I've literally dated women that said they only date the 6-footers.
Yep.
And I've dated them.
Yep. Because you stand on your wall and you're 6'5". Hey.
Remember, I told you that earlier, didn't I? Stand on your wall and you can't. But you can get physically there to, because look, what 65% of men and women are overweight now. So when there's that many people overweight, you just being fit, you're in the top 35. Like not fat,
especially here in America.
Right, you're in the
A lot
top
of fat people.
35%. You rock out at the gym and get your protein in and lean out. You can get in the top 5% of men physically. Then money wise, hey, if you're average, you're in the top 50%. And then if you develop a personality and you're funny and you're laid back and you're chill. Remember how you told me earlier I was sexy? And, well, we don't have to talk about that.
See, I just love, he has a funny take on it. I like his personality. But they're all preaching the same narrative, and that's what I love. And it's a community of this. We're bonded together in this, and it's important. Okay, here's a quick clip of Fit and Fresh, or Fresh and Fit, I should say. I apologize, guys. Just Fit throwing down here. He's just laying down the law, telling the girls what's up. And all he's doing is just being honest. There's nothing crazy about what he's preaching. He's just preaching what all us guys truly think.
Commit to a girl and she'd be my girlfriend and her wife or whatever it is, I would put her through the ringer so hard where she would never even think to cheat. Because the thing is this, people only value things that they work for. And unfortunately, we live in a society now where people put women on a pedestal. They're told they're sugar and spice and everything nice, and they don't have to work for anything anymore. You know what I'm saying? We have a sugar daddy culture. We got a bunch of simps. They're out here validating these women, and they think, a lot of girls walk around like their shit don't stink. Let's be honest, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So, so I would have to, I would literally have to like put her through her paces and make her earn that relationship. And once a woman works really hard and earns that commitment from you, she's gonna do everything she can to protect it. So I already know she ain't gonna cheat, and I'm gonna know if she's gonna be cheating because I'm gonna be able to detect it immediately. When a woman's about to cheat on you, it's very obvious. She doesn't do certain things, sexual activities, right, that she might have done in the past that she doesn't want to do anymore. Maybe she starts acting bitchy, combative, whatever it is. It's very easy to tell when a woman is deviating from what she should be doing after you train her correctly. And I know a lot of people are going to get mad. Train your girlfriend? Oh my God! That's
You get the point.
Okay, so I just wanted to show you clips of all those guys. They're all fantastic. They're all preaching some of the narratives that I'm about to kind of go over. None of those clips really were all-encompassing of their thoughts or what they have going on their channels. Again, I'll leave links to all their channels below. Check them all out. They're all fabulous and fantastic. We talked a little bit of a few of these topics, but not many. We've talked about this briefly. Men are success objects to women. Men must work to create value. Men's value is lowest in their early 20s and increases until their late 30s. And then they have a slower decline than women, actually. I wish I would have known this when I was 18 and really just would have pushed through this and didn't really think about women and just focused on me at that age. Again, men create their own self-value. And this is a statistic that I think has been preached on every single one of these guys' channels. 10 to 20% of men are having sex with 80 to 90% of the women. Women are beauty objects to men. We went over the 6 sixes of men. And again, only 1 to 5% of men actually qualify under all those 6 categories. So, I mean, women are searching for male unicorns. All women think they're the exception to the rule. Younger women are attracted to older men. Both men and women, they want honesty, right? Men and women just value different things in a partner. Women love to argue facts, data, statistics, and the observable reality. They don't have a great ability to let stuff go and accept reality. And so this one, I've seen this one specifically. Both Kevin and Rollo talk about this. Kevin calls it the danger zone. That's when women reach the age of 27 to 35. It's when their paternal clock is kicking in. Rollo calls it the epiphany phase of, setting these standards so unrealistically that they're unobtainium. It's kind of that metal, right? So they realize that they are going to have to settle on their standards. And I think we've come to understand that it leads to a lot of divorce. Because women have to settle for beta men, essentially, right? Okay, so I've put together a list of generally what women find attractive in a man. Leadership skills, man with a busy life. Women don't want to be the main priority in the attraction phase. They're passionate about things, hobbies or work. Someone who doesn't boast about their looks. If they're good looking, they don't really need to talk about it. Opinionated in their beliefs, but respectful. You like to take things slow, methodical, plan things out. But you're also decisive, very decisive when you make a decision. of course, they like a male deep voice because it's masculine. They like confidence. They like respect for her, yourself, and the other people around you. I mean, I think most people would appreciate that. You're smart. You're knowledgeable. You own your own flaws. I think that's important. You have some sort of style, whatever that is. Your smell. A lot of women like adventurous men. Some women like facial hair. Those are kind of the key things. And all those qualities are very masculine in nature, very alpha in nature, right? Here's some of the items that men find attractive in women. First impressions are number one. Their beauty, their personality, their attitude. And let's face it, men want a submissive woman. It sounds so derogatory when women hear that. But really, all it is really saying, it's not meant to be derogatory. Submissive means ready to conform to an authority or will of others, right? Passive. It means to be passive, not aggressive. It means to be passive. I think the best analogy I've heard of this reference is the chess pieces on a chessboard. The most important piece on the board, right? You lose the game, is the king. But the queen is the second most important piece, right? And she goes around kicking ass all over the board. And she can move anywhere. And she could take down a king. So, I mean, that's the best analogy I've heard of kind of what the submissive woman means. You know, we have to work in harmony and unison. Some traits of a non-submissive woman are feminist mindset practices, trying to be the home decision maker, airing your relationship's dirty laundry to others, emotionally withdrawn, not holding a unified family front if you have kids. You won't accept correction from anyone, including your husband. You're always correcting your husband and nagging him, especially in public. And if your significant other or husband feels disrespected, I mean, those are non-submissive traits. It creates stress and tension in a relationship. Men don't want that. Men appreciate playfulness and a sense of humor. Confidence in a woman. She's confident in herself. A lot of women struggle with that these days. They're independent. They're not needy or clingy. Consistency and loyalty. Happiness and satisfied with life. They have some level of contentment and optimism, which you'd be hard-pressed to find a whole lot of women these days with optimism. Accepting their physical and emotional appearances. Now, I mean, we go back to number one, we look at beauty, but, you know, you have to have some acceptance of yourself. And I think that is more what that means and is reflective of that. We talk about physical traits, obviously the figure. That one's just ingrained in us males. We look at the hips. Can they bear children? We want a nice smile, facial symmetry, lips, eyes, eyebrows, posture. We're if you know it or not, we're attracted to clothing color, especially red and black in particular. So that's just some things that typically guys look for. That's the beauty objects, right? It starts with a physical, and then as they get within your frame, you really start to look at the other pieces. Does she formulate a personality and a proper attitude, someone you actually want to be around? And as you get into a relationship, you know, are there some submissive qualities that she'll accept you as the alpha? I mean, that's really important. These are the big ticket items that, you know, I'm going to spend a lot of time teaching my kids. Let's just quickly go down, you know, some breakdowns of relationships when they're not working, and just some statistics I've researched. So 42 to 45% of marriages will end in divorce. 66% of those divorces are filed by women. The divorce rate of second marriages is 60% and 73% for third marriages. I'm on a second marriage. I'm doing everything in my power to make this work. I'm not doing it again. I'm absolutely not going to do it again. If this marriage fails, it's not going to fail. I'm going to make it succeed. The average length of the first marriage usually ends in divorce in 8 years. 58% of Americans believe that divorce is much better than staying together in an unhappy marriage. 73% see divorce as morally acceptable. The cost of divorce is somewhere between $8,400 and as much as $17,500. Of course, that doesn't include any child or spousal support. Average divorce case takes up to 12 months. If it goes to trial, it could take much longer than that. The number one reason for divorce is infidelity. But, this has a caveat to it. Monogamy in humans is beneficial because it increases the chances to raising offspring, right? And it's really the narrative I'm trying to push to keep my family together and raise my children with two parents. But it's actually very rare in mammals. Less than 10% of mammal species are monogamous. Birds, on the other hand, are 90%. Primates specifically are about 25% of the species are monogamous. So it's not in our nature to be that way. I would only recommend to anyone to get married if you're planning on having kids. Otherwise, there's no economic benefit to it. I mean, you're going to lose. It's a lose-lose proposition for you. If you do not plan on carrying your last name to the future generations, then I would consider not getting married ever. And then just stating a pretty obvious thing here, women are obviously more expressive than men and are guided by their emotions rather than rational thinking. Women have always been viewed the fairer, delicate, emotional, and sensitive of the two. Men are also just as capable of demonstrating the same levels of emotion as a woman. However, men seem to be able to demonstrate a greater control over those emotions. Men are associated with more rationalization and rational thought than women. And women tend to demonstrate more emotional thought than men and action, right? It's my experience in life, though, that children who benefit from having a two-parent relationship growing up are just better. They're just better, well-grounded children. Just some things, food for thought here. Parents play differently with their kids, the men and the women. Each parent has different strengths, right? Behavioral reasons and discipline. Kids are better when they have two parents. Their educations are better. Men and women, we think differently about education and those skills and how we process their mental health, self-esteem, confidence, and just basic understanding of future relationships between men and women. They feel more secure. They respect authority better. They're happier. And they do a better job of keeping their emotions in check. Okay, so in conclusion here, men who subscribe to being red-pilled males are fighting just like feminists to keep male identities. Educating modern men on how to maximize one's potential in life and navigate current relationship narratives that exist in our culture. Let's face it, this is kind of a new movement in promoting to keep male equality in our society. The pendulum's just swung too far on feminism. And it has toxic effects in our society that I've seen. They're tangible. And I applaud these guys for, I don't want to say fighting back, but at least educating folks on just to be better. And I'm all about a better society. So that about covers it. Please like and subscribe. Please look up all these guys. Again, I'll leave links to their stuff. And take care. We'll talk to you guys later. See ya.